All right, so today I just wanted to talk about this dream that I had, and yeah, how it relates to things that events that happened in my life, like right after the dream. And the crazy thing is, like, I woke up. It was a two-part dream, but I'm only gonna talk about one part of the dream in specific for this video. And so I actually wrote it down because the dream was weird to me, and like I remember it. It was so when I meditate, like I get information. For the most part, like when I meditate, when I go into deep meditation. So sometimes when I go to sleep, when I go to take a nap, it's kind of like I'm in the meditative state that I get into, like when I receive information and things like that. So in this particular dream, in the first half of the dream, it was somebody from my immediate past that was so this particular person kept stealing my car or like borrowing my car, and every time I found the person with my car, they were like jumping their car, like using my battery to jump their battery. And and then so every time I found this particular person, to get my car back, they was always with somebody from my past as well, but like further into my past. And it was just weird because like this particular person would take my car, and then when I would find them, and then talk to them about getting my car back, and then another person from my past will always be around the vicinity, like probably directly across the street. One time they was like in a van across the street. Um, so it was just weird, and it's like why are these two people together? Um, so that part of the dream was like it. That part of the dream hasn't come to pass yet. So I don't know why that part of the dream was even there yet. So um, the other part of the dream, like them using my car battery to jump their car battery. So I was just thinking like the significance of that because it happened twice in the dream, where they took my car and then I had to go find them and they were like using my car to jump their car. Now, mind you, it doesn't necessarily drain your battery when somebody uses your car to jump their car. That's just some people's notion. They like, I don't like my car being used to jump other cars because it can mess your battery up. Um, but what I took from that is like basically uh, this particular person or just somebody in general, somebody that I know, was basically like draining my positive energy to use for their energy. Um, and I was like, well, that was weird. That was like deep. So I had wrote that down when I woke up. I actually wrote the whole dream out, but again, just the beginning half of this dream is what I want to talk about in this video. So I was like, all right, so somebody in my past or somebody that I know that's close to me is like basically trying to drain my energy, maybe intentionally or not intentionally. That wasn't very specific as far as the dream. So then, like a couple of days later, like I was perfectly fine. And then a couple of days later, like I started feeling a little under the weather. Like I started feeling sick. My body started getting a little, I had like a little head cold, like my nose was stuffy, had headaches. And I was like thinking like, wow, like um, my dream is starting to come true. Like it felt like that, I was in good spirits, I was eating good, and I was healthy. And then like I woke up and I just wasn't feeling good. Like I was feeling drained. I was feeling like, I didn't have as much energy, and I was starting to come down with a cold. And so I was like, yo, that's probably what the dream was about. Like basically letting me know that I'm going to start feeling the effects of a cold or feeling the effects of not having as much energy as I had before. And then another thing that just crossed my mind, like I just started training again. I started working out again. I was like, so maybe like I might have pushed myself too much. I might have pushed myself too hard. And my body just wasn't used to it. So like I'm feeling the effects of that. So I was like, that was one thing or two things that could possibly be happening. And I was like, it was just weird to me that right after the dream, I started feeling those effects and I started getting a little under the weather. I started feeling sick. I didn't have any energy at all. And so I was like, yo, that to me, I was like, yo, that's what the dream was about. And so I chalked it. I was like, whatever, I'm gonna just start eating a little more healthier than what I was, and I'm gonna start taking some meds. And then I started feeling a little better. And so um, me and my partner, we had to go down south to go pick up her boys. So the week before that, before we had to go pick her boys up, we just went to pick up her boys this weekend. And so the week before that, I got my car serviced. Just got to tune up and made sure everything was okay. Got the brakes done to make sure, it was good for the trip down there. We live up north. We had to go down south just to make sure the car was cool to go down. And the mechanic said everything was straight. Nothing was wrong with the car. Well, we got the brakes and stuff done and got the tune up. But after that, he was like, everything was good. So we drove down, no problem. We picked up the boys. And then on the way back, we get into like Virginia, and the battery light on my car comes on. And it was like, this never happened before. My car is roughly 5 years old, and I bought it fresh off the lot. It was a brand new car. It didn't have any miles on it or anything like that. So I was the only person that owned the car. And this has never happened to the car before at all. And like the battery light came on. And in that moment, well, not necessarily in that moment, like when like we sat there, like, cause the car eventually broke down. We had to pull over to the side of the road to get car service. But in the moment of us sitting there, like we looked at each other because I talked to her about the dream, and she was like, yo, like maybe this was what the dream was about. Like maybe it was just like a premonition, or just like look into the future to let you know what was to come. And I was like, yo, like that's crazy. Like, but like for that to happen, like eventually so what happened, the alternator went on the car, and when the alternator goes, it drains the battery. When your alternator goes bad, it drains the battery. The alternator actually helps power the battery, but when it's a bad alternator, it drains your battery. So the battery light came on the dashboard, and it was, red flashing, the lights and everything was going crazy. The radio cut off. Airbag system was about to deploy or whatever. So we pulled over, got AAA, and we had to get the car serviced overnight or whatever, or the next day. We had to get the car serviced. So what happened, the alternator went bad. But when the alternator goes bad, the electrical system in the car, it lets you know that the electrical system isn't up to par. So what happens is the battery light comes on, and just the symbolism of the battery light coming on in the car, and then relating it to my dream, as far as, a particular person like using my battery, draining my battery to jump their battery. So it was just so many different, within a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks from me having this dream and writing this dream down, because the dream was so vivid, and it was like I was in the dream and I knew everything that was happening, and when I woke up, I was like, I remembered the full dream completely. And so I wrote it down. I was like, this is significant in some way, and I just didn't know, which way the significance of the dream would have played out. So when I started getting sick, I thought, wow, this is the significance of the dream. And then I started feeling a little better, and then my car broke down, and it didn't just break down, like the battery light came on. So I was like, maybe it was like a double meaning to the dream. I would rather it just be the fact that the dream was letting me know that my alternator was about to go. I would rather it not be, dealing with people from my past trying to drain my energy, or intentionally or unintentionally. But that happens just through life experiences and things like that. So I just thought that it was awesome and weird at the same time, like having that dream and having those two things like kind of come together in that situation. And I'm thankful that I had the dream. It was very enlightening, and I hope to have more dreams that I can remember that precisely and write them down, and then see how they play out in my actual reality. So I'm just waiting to see. Like I said, it was a two-part dream. In this video, I'm not going to talk about the second part of the dream and the other significant part of the dream, which was that these two people from my past were, basically together, or like always around each other. Like, I want to see how that part plays out in my reality. It might not play out, or it might not have any significance. So like the dream could have just been telling me like, your battery on your car was gonna go, which would be awesome. Like I'd take that any day. Like the alternator in my car was gonna go. It went. I got it. I was able to get it fixed, and made it back up north with no problems. So yeah, that was just the dream that I had, and it was just amazing to me that the way things came together in the dream. So if anybody is having dreams that you remember when you wake up, just write them down and just see if they start to play out in your reality in any type of way. Don't like force meanings on the dreams, because I didn't force any meanings on the dream that I had. It was just coincidence, synchronicities, things that came together from the dream that I had, and I would rather it not be anything like malicious or ill will that is taking place in my reality. Like, I would just rather it be, just being able to see into the future and understanding, my car was about to need an alternator, which I got the alternator, and now we're all good. So yeah, basically just write down your dreams and see if you can find the interpretation to them, and see if you can find any remnants of it in your reality throughout your days, your weeks, your months, your years.